It's a little too long. YouTube's viewer retention, it doesn't slide. But, good effort. It was a good try. That's right. We're going straight back to the underground. Like NWA if they were furries. Yeah, I really don't want to be here either. Let's get out of here.
So, let me get this off my chest before I talk about anything. Everyone thinks they're so above anyone who likes this game. You like this thing, shame on you. How about if I did that with stuff you like? You're passionate about something, you're a loser. I don't like that. Like, people like shit, they like shit. But don't think the fans are off easy, because, for the love of God, you guys remember that opening scene in Spirited Away with the parents turning into pigs? I know you do, because you're all weebs. That's what it looks like when you guys are consuming so much of this game. It's gross.
People will have different opinions on many things, especially games, so if we disagree on Undertale, it's totally fine. But if you're one of the people that ruined Undertale for me, you don't deserve to be happy.
Okay, sorry, now that hot garbage is out of the way, let's talk about the actual hot garbage. I like this game, but it's just a game. I can study it, I can appreciate it, but that's it. That's as far as I'm gonna go. I already did a video on it, but we're not touching into that shit, go away, get out. Today I'm taking a more macro look. Looking at the factors surrounding the game, why people like it, why they don't. Okay, wow, where do we start? Internet came out in the 90s, wow, AOL! New things started popping up like message boards, web stores, and cheat code websites for Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4! But psst, over here. Boom, the internet age exploded, hit puberty, and started getting blemishes and growing weird in some places. Let's players, bloggers, Shrek-chan. Many websites were still home to fanatics, but the average Joe could go online too. On their mobile phone, tablets, computers, iPods, even their 3DSs, baby!
Now it wasn't just people with too much time on their hands. The internet has become essential to everyday life for regular people. Even my mom is posting those copy pasta Facebook statuses and really evaluating what I value in life.
I hope you enjoyed that break, because now we're actually going to talk about Undertale. I kind of wanted to give it perspective, because back when I was younger, I went online to YouTube and some forums to talk about Super Smash Bros. Melee. It was crazy to think that people online also loved this game as much as I did, with hacks, tournament videos, bloopers. Now imagine how this is different in 2015, with tons of people online and many outlets to share. Social media, forums, creator platforms. It's kind of getting fucked up here. How do I put this? I feel like Undertale couldn't have released at a better time. Its gameplay evokes a natural commentary about the state of gaming, game design, gaming philosophy, and also touches on many cultural nerd things that were spawned from the internet. And like I said, it's not just fanatics that like games now. You got let's players, streamers, artists, lots of people online have the ability to share and talk about the thing they love. And Undertale was the first time where we felt the oversaturation of that. At least in my opinion. I know FNAF was bad, but Undertale was another creature. And I know you're probably thinking that Undertale is not the first game to do this. But in my opinion, it embedded this commentary into the gameplay and choices players actually made that was subtle, and actually made the player think about it rather than telling them. This can be compared to another game that talks about narrative stuff, games and all that, the Stanley Parable. And I like this game, but it's not subtle with what it's doing, like
Stanley, quick Stanley. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down?
Undertale eventually gets all its bullshit up in your face, but that's how much you want to investigate it. The first time you're playing through, you're not gonna see that. You're just gonna think it's a regular game until these decisions start to come back and creep up on you. And that's what's cool. It lets you authentically play the game and see the consequences for your actions, which promotes replayability because you're like, wait, what would happen if I did this? And then it also gets you thinking, okay, the game knows that I know it's a game and it knows that I know that, so what will it make me do in this situation that's right? The point is, the way it did this compelled players because it brought forward ideas in interesting ways. It didn't just tell you them. It really got them to rethink what games were, and it wasn't just some boring adventure that you play start to finish. As soon as you get to Asgore, it's a turning point for you to realize, oh, that's what this game is. I'd like to go back to the cute stuff now. Get a skeleton with spaghetti, please.
Yes, I do have to admit, Undertale is one of my favorite games, maybe of all time, because of its very clever commentaries on gaming. Now let's rip it apart!
Undertale's whole spiel is to get you thinking about the decisions you're making. Here, you kill Toriel and you're like, I didn't mean to do this, let me just go back. So you do it, but then this flower ass tells you you're a bad person. It's like, what, dude? Undertale's one thing is that it always places consequences, whether good or bad, for whatever decision you make. It's so consistent that the player's like, yeah, okay, if you're gonna be like that, I'm gonna do this. And then it does that. Okay, I'm gonna do this. And then it shows you what it's gonna do. It's that natural feedback loop that makes it so people want to return and try out everything. All of this comes at the cost of gameplay. And that's where the game can get weak. The gameplay in this game can range from alright to just tedious. This is because it's got to consider multiple gameplay styles of killing and sparing and everything in between. And when you got to account for so much, you're usually not too hot at one thing. Check my resume. I will say the neutral route is the most fun because you have more options. You can kill them in the attack, you can try and spare them with unique options, and you get to do the cool little dodging. But pacifist and genocide are both boring and arbitrary. They do have their highlights, but getting to those highlights can be annoying. It comes to the point where you just have to touch the right dialogue options in the right order, and it's not really fun.
The only reason I found these parts fun on a first playthrough and even a second one is because it's funny, there's comedy, and it's written well. But if this is not your style of comedy, if you don't find this funny, I can tell that these parts are going to be very boring and very arbitrary to you.
And Genocide's just grindy. If the attack system in this game was a little more fleshed out, if it had a little more to offer, then maybe it could have been more fun. I will say though, the best part of these fights are the defense. But it's fun, it actually feels like you're in control and your skill matters. And because each way you play through the game can be different, scaling gets affected, which can cause some issues. Usually in Pacifist, when it comes to these bosses, you have to outlast them. Or do some other criteria bullshit. Through most of the game, it's alright, you're fighting these enemies. But as soon as you get to Undyne or Muffet, the difficulty, like what the fuck? And just for all of you in the back, I don't care if there are quick ways to end these fights, because not all players are gonna know that. The minimum is, you have to outlast these fights if you're trying to do Pacifist. And what's important in gaming with bosses? And Fish Girl could tell you something about that. Each of the boss fights usually switch up the defense mechanic to make a unique minigame. And yes, that is fun. But if you do not show the player how exactly it is they can move, and what the attacks that are attacking you do, it can be a little annoying. Doesn't feel like your skill is even involved. Let's look at Mettaton. Yeah. I'm not denying it's a cool fight, but a new player would definitely have problems with it. And I know not all games are made for beginners, but this one kind of presents itself like it is. And putting the player up against this when they may or may not have already experienced stuff like this may be a little too hard. Let's look at the phases. We've got these legs that stop if you shoot them, but they come at you so quick you don't have time to think. This bar that you shoot one part of that appears like once. Bombs that if you shoot you have to move out of the way. A disco ball if you shoot that it changes the blue to white. There's just too much going on. Some of these phases are alright, but a lot of them don't show you how to counter them. There's no indication on how to do it. The disco ball, I didn't even realize you could shoot it. This phase, how the hell am I supposed to know it rewinds? When you die, it doesn't feel like it's your fault. It just feels like you couldn't have seen that coming. That's just my opinion on it. I will say though, Papyrus's fight, first off, it's the first unique boss fight you have in the game. It also reinforces the sparing is an option. Because from this point on, sure, Papyrus may be annoying, but it's hard to hate him. The fight with him is interesting because it shows you the unique mechanic and slowly ramps up the difficulty with each of the phases. Not to mention if you die, it sends you back to Papyrus's house. It's the perfect fight to teach you what Undertale is all about, and I think that's why everyone got a boner for the game at this point. Anyways, yeah, I understand why the battles were not thought about as deeply as some of the more deeper lying mechanics of Undertale. But that doesn't make it any less tedious to go play through the game a second time. Especially when it wants you to do that.
Alright, let's reel it back for a second. I've been saying a lot of bullshit, so let's just get on the same page. This game is a commentary on games, internet culture, and a lot of stuff, and was released at a time when the internet was perfect for a game like this. It had a lot of ways to share and talk about this game. The game also had to be designed in this way so gameplay had to take a hit, but it also deters from the game in another way that's both a benefit and detraction for a lot of people.
The art style, the music, the gameplay, there's not much to it. Why are people saying this is the best game of 2015? And I understand that argument. It's a short-ass game with not a lot to it. So let me try and break down why simplicity benefits Undertale and why it got so popular. People are naturally more drawn to simple things. If they're simpler to understand, then it can be communicated to people better. Take a look at advertising and see what commercials make a brand stick. Did you buy a phone by any chance because you like this simple interface? And I know you did because I got video stats. I see all you iOS users. Look at all these stats I can see in. What? You guys are watching on 3D? What? What I'm getting at is, this much simplicity was within Toby Fox's means. But this limitation also spawned creativity. Making a game with simple rules and graphics was probably much easier to code. It also gave him more time to focus on the internal logic of choice making and how that would affect later parts of the game. The thing with Undertale is all aspects of it are simple. There aren't many unique factors to Undertale. It's just the fact that they exhausted choice making and how things are affected, a thing that many games don't really do. And it was this exhaustion and attention to detail that made people fall in love with it. Characters using different fonts, a small change but not something you usually see. Game crashing events, again, very possible on a PC, but not something you see from a lot of games. The fighting UI, it's super simple. So simple to the point when there is a change, it's much more impactful. Constant re-evaluations of what they consider to be a game and what they consider Undertale to be to really keep the player on the edge of their seat and always guessing. And all of this can get a rise out of the player, make them laugh, or disturb them. Yeah, Undertale likes doing that a lot.
Big reason why this flowery point in the game makes everybody go, "Oh my, what in the mother of fuck?"
Good God!
This happens because the game conditions you to think a certain way about it. It makes you think it's so cute and simple, but then you get here and it totally shatters your expectations. It's got hyper-realistic graphics and animation, stuff we have not seen in the game up to this point, mind you, and that's why it's so compelling to so many people. Like the whole game built up to this point, to hit you like a truck.
And I think that's where the cringe comes in. And I'm serious. You see this Sans thing where he says you're gonna have a bad time. Imagine seeing that from a player that played a neutral, pacifist, and then the genocide, versus someone online that just sees it. It's just a sprite to somebody online. It's just another screen of the game. It doesn't really mean much. There's usually a lot a player has to go through to get to that point where it's actually impactful. And once again, the simplicity of seeing a new sprite of Sans that you haven't seen before, in a font you haven't seen before, make an impact because of the simplicity.
So there, I did it. I got through an Undertale video, minimal puns, and I think I got all the points I wanted to say. Can you give me a hand? Can you give me a round of applause? Oh. You probably edited in something, didn't you? Honestly, all of these things are why I think the natural reception online became what it is. The game is so open to timelines, and this could happen, and that could happen. It's a commentary, anything can be said, and once the game gets that into the mind of the player, they're like, oh, my alternate universe could be real in the game. No, it can't. It will never be. It won't.
Seriously, I am blessed to have been able to play this game in a total vacuum. It was a joy to play through the game, making my own decisions, weaving my own discourse through the world of Undertale. I really got to see and feel the disturbing stuff post-game, and all of those memories really stuck with me. So I can understand if the game was ruined for you, how all of this just goes null.
Man, I was so focused on talking about things surrounding the game that I couldn't actually talk about the things I liked about the game. You know, the story, the lore, the characters, the music. Hey, yeah!
Thank you everyone for watching this video! But you know I gotta say thank you to the patrons. So here we go. Thank you on a monthly basis. You guys help me get through phases. I'm gonna go phases with my videos, and you know it's gotta be crazy, but I gotta do it cause you know I gotta be true to myself, and you guys helping me out makes me more true to my videos. It makes me go through. 2018's gonna be my year, you know, and I don't adhere to what people say or do cause I wanna make the best videos for you. So thank you everybody for viewing. Patrons, you know you're stewing, uploading me so I can make the best videos in the scene. You know I am obscene with my meanings for this. I am a mean demon with my rhymes in the end card bean business. Oh, wow, I blew it. I blew the ending. Thank you for watching. Thank you. I enjoyed this video so much, and I'm glad you could too. Take it easy, everybody. I'll see you on the flip side.